Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another fantastic episode of 50 Minutes of Fandom brought to you by the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. I'm your host, that ocean crossing, straight up Boston, flight catching, shot glass snatching. Where's he going next? Nobody knows. Three continents down, three more to go. No cap, straight facts, the worldwide starboy, Remy Blue. But it's not about me. See, we actually have a guest here who is not only he's very unique because actually, not only is he a wrestling fan, he's a UK based wrestling fan, a place that I'm gonna get to eventually. And when I get there, I'll definitely be indulging in some quality street, which I grew up on. But he's also a fan of Chelsea FC. He's also a fan of the NBA and the NFL. Everybody, welcome to the show, Andrew, the Winter Surfer. How you doing tonight, Andrew?
Yeah,
Or
I'm
it's morning
doing.
over there.
Yes, yeah, it's about 4 a.m. over here. I got mixed up with the times again. I thought it was
I
like
got it.
that, but I'm all good. I'm all good. Thanks for the invite. What an introduction! I like that. It's all
No
good.
problem, man. I gotta
You're
say,
better than Paul Heyman.
I gotta say you're actually a trooper because um 4 a.m. man, it's early, man. I'm still tossing and turning around that time. Thank goodness that my day job, my
Yeah,
shoot job, if I could say that, actually doesn't start until 12:30. So um yeah, I it's a good thing I don't have to I don't have to worry about getting up too early in the morning.
no, it's all
Yeah.
good. Don't worry about it. Just yeah, but like I said before backstage, yeah, very happy for the invite. So thank you very much.
Hey, no problem, man. We try to reach out to all fans, man. It doesn't matter whether you're here in the good old US of A,
Mm,
in the great white north of Canada,
mm.
South America, the UK. It doesn't matter. We try our best to get to you. Shout out to StreamYard. StreamYard actually, um, they've been a big factor, a big assistance, for lack of a better word, in regards to us reaching out to people all over, not all over the country, but all over the world.
Yeah,
And believe it or not, you're not our first fan from England that we've actually, interviewed. We've had several bouts with interviewing people from England, from France, I believe we interviewed somebody from Scotland one
nice.
time. So yeah, we've had our fair share of people from the UK and Europe in general being on our show. So tell us, man, how did it start you? How did you become a fan of professional wrestling?
So my earliest memory was my father taking me, or my dad taking me to SummerSlam '92 at Wembley, the famous British Bulldog Bret Hart Intercontinental Title match. My only recollection of remembering that event when I went was that because it was during the day, you couldn't see the big screens because it was so sunny, so you couldn't actually see anything. But when it got dark, you could actually see anything. You could see everything.
Okay.
So that's my earliest memory of like being there. And then I was sort of in and out like '96 stuff like that. I really missed the start. I was watching mainly WWF at that time. I wasn't really watching like WCW, so I missed like the NWO stuff until after it happened. But then I got really back into it, Attitude Era, with the Austin McMahon stuff, and it just blew up from there. And then since then, I've sort of been up until like they did the PG era stuff like that. I was in and out, and then the Daniel Bryan stuff brought me back in again. And then since then, I've been into it, and I've been into it since then. I'm glad like stuff like AEW and Impact and been able to view that, and New Japan and stuff like that. So yeah, that's it. I've been watching for like over 30 years. I've been watching it in and out. So, but yeah, never been. I think now it's more mainstream. There's not a lot. The people still like go, you watch wrestling and stuff like that, but there's not that what it was before. Now it's more mainstream, and people know the wrestlers and stuff like that. It's not like a guilty pleasure or something like that, where you try to hide away from your friends or stuff like that. So yeah, that's me. That's me in a nutshell, basically.
Man, I tell people, man, I enjoy what I enjoy, you
Yeah,
know. And people tell me it's fake. Okay, so and this is a new one I do now. I tell people, okay, so you enjoy Marvel, the Marvel universe, right?
Right. Yeah.
So do you really think there's a guy running around in real life with a shield hitting people, or do you think a guy that turns gets big and green whenever he gets angry, right?
Yeah.
That's all fake. Oh, you're not a fan of Marvel Universe. What do you like? Oh, you like Star Wars. So
Yeah.
you're really telling me that there's some guy in a floating ball in space that dresses in all dark that
Yeah.
fights people or kills people with lasers, right? You're
Yeah.
telling me that, so
But it's
I
also the
tell
fact
people like let people enjoy.
I
Go
don't like
ahead.
people just generally. I don't like people just generally like telling people like their stuff is rubbish or stuff like that. Just leave them to themselves. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah,
or at least watch it and try and get try and get an education on it or something before you criticize. And even now, I've just reached a certain age where I just don't care. I just like what I like, and no one's going to tell me
yeah,
anything different. You know what I mean? I don't care. I'm in my 30s. I like wrestling. So what? Liked it. I like it. So what? So, just because you don't like it doesn't make me go, oh yeah, maybe I should start watching. Nope, I like it. I've been watching it for 30 years, and I'm still gonna like it, and I like it even more today. So
right, right. Yeah, I definitely agree with you with that. Um, as long as we're not being obnoxious with it,
yeah, yeah,
leave
yeah.
people to. So, so you said so. My volume for some reason is a bit. I don't know what's going on with my volume here. I don't know. I guess let me see. My headphones will work. Let me see. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I could. Yeah, you're fine with me, so I could hear you all the time. So can you hear me? Hello.
Hold on.
Okay.
All right. I think I hear you now.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. It was coming in a bit low, but
Ah.
um, yeah. So I just gotta say, 1 second.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you said you were in and out. You were in and out watching wrestling around like 1996.
Yeah, yeah, 96, and then I didn't really from about those 2 years. I really missed the birth of the NWO, so I didn't really catch that, and then I got back into it around the Austin McMahon started their feud. So between that time, like 2 years, I was really in and out. Like I missed the whole of like '97 essentially. Which looking back on it, that when I watched it, some of the old episodes on the network, I'm sort of glad I missed part missed that missed part of '97. But yeah, I was in and out of it for about 2 years.
Okay. At least you were back in time for the Attitude Era. That was the craziest era of like
Yeah,
WWE. Like
yeah,
luckily, I'm 40 now. I just turned 40 last month. But
mm,
I was a teenager when that started. I was like 14 when the Attitude Era started, and it lasted from 14 up until I was like 19. Then we had the Ruthless Aggression era.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I just I started watching wrestling when I was 6 going on 7, 1990. And
right,
I was like, even during that time when the Attitude Era was going on, I used to see the things that DX was saying and doing. I was like, 6 or 7 year old me could not be allowed to watch this. It's a good thing I'm the age I am now, because if I was 6 or 7 at that time, they would have been like, "No, you're not allowed to watch that. You're gonna
yeah,
go watch cartoons or something. You're not gonna be allowed to watch that." But luckily I was the age I was. Some of what they were saying kind of flew over my head because
mm,
me growing up in originally from Guyana, which is in South America.
mm,
Some of the things didn't like really like transfer over to us. Some of the
yeah,
vulgarities, but still, it was definitely a fun time. And I don't know about you, but I never got in trouble doing the DX crash chop.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah,
Um, I did give people a lot of the people's eyebrow, but the cross chop thing. And then again, I never really did it a lot either. I was more of a rock guy. I mean, DX, they were
yeah,
funny, but I wasn't really like into them like a lot like that
yeah,
at the time. But I was more of a rock Stone Cold kind of guy, you know.
yeah. Same. I was more than my. Yeah, I related to them, but well, not really. I just found them more interesting. DX was interesting, but I found those two guys especially interesting. I gravitate I gravitate more to the Rock than Austin in terms of just his all round persona that he did. I actually thought like 99 Rock is the Rock for me in terms of his promos, his wrestling and stuff like that. That's when he was sort of like an anti baby face. It wasn't like what he went into like in like late 2000, 2001, stuff like that. I really like that. But yeah, you're right. Never got in trouble with the DX chop. No one understood it really much in the UK that much, at
Yeah,
the time.
yeah.
So it was like that, we couldn't get. Everyone understood the Austin, the middle finger. Everyone knows
Oh,
that.
that I did. I gave a couple people that middle finger when I was a teenager. I did that a couple of times, and then I remembered at one time my aunt, I don't know how she found out. My aunt was like, "So I heard you're cussing a lot freely." I'm like, "No, I don't know what you're," which and I wasn't, but I guess somebody's probably saw me give somebody the finger, and they probably told her. But
Yeah,
she's like, "If I catch you, it's not gonna be nice." I'm like, "Okay," and then I stopped doing the finger from then. But yeah, that was a crazy time. It was a crazy time. It was a great time to be alive too, but
yeah,
to be a wrestling fan. But yeah, it was definitely a crazy time.
definitely, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So I gotta ask you, man. What was WB? Speaking of WB, they had NXT UK.
Mm,
Over there for I like to say when it started, what 2017,
yeah,
and then it ended like last year, so like 5 years.
sort of, yeah, yeah.
Um, what was your what was going through your mind when they started NXT UK over in the UK?
Um, so when they first started it, I watched it because it was like unique because I hadn't seen most of the guys before. I might have catched them, maybe heard of a few that wrestled like Revolution Pro because I went to a couple of shows there. I saw some indie guys there, but when it started, yeah, I thought it was very good. It was very good wrestling, but for me, I struggled to connect with the actual wrestlers themselves because I didn't know most of them. But then when say Walter or Gunther, however you want to call him now these days, when he came in, I went,
Mhm.
this guy just looks different. Do you know what I mean? And then when he formed Imperium and stuff like that, and yeah, and then those matches with him and Dragunov, especially the first one, that's sort of like in a nearly an empty arena sort of thing. It's just watching that is just that I like that. I like all types of wrestling, but watching that is just a physical masterpiece itself. But the old NXT UK, I I didn't really watch it afterwards after the initial bit. You know, I only knew them when they did their takeovers. Watched them and watched them when they came over to the NXT over here. But yeah, it's a good idea, good concept. I mean, Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, Kaylee Ray, who's now Alba Fire, Isla Dawn, however you want to pronounce that, Gallus, they're doing well. Um, yeah, so I think it's a good concept. I think it's helped create a few stars. Definitely, if you see what Gunther's doing now, I mean, he's just tremendous. I mean, Pete Dunne or Butch, or whatever you want to call him these days. I hope he goes back to Pete Dunne very soon. That's my only wish because I hate the name Butch for him, stuff like that. So I hope he goes back to it. But whole NXT UK, I think it did what it needed to do. It helped supplement the business in itself, WWE. So I thought it was a good idea. I don't know what they're going to do. I think that they're going to do some type. They want to do some type of Europe, something like basically the whole of Europe. They want to do. That's what I read. But whether that goes through or not, I'm not too sure. But I don't think any of the stars that are now in WWE will go back. Maybe the odd cameo here and there, but they're going to be more established over there. But they've done well with it. So
Yeah, maybe NXT. I'm all for NXT Europe. It'll be very interesting to see how it is.
yeah,
Um, I think it's on paper, it's a great idea, but at the same time, I just want to see how, if they do it, I want to see how it's going to transfer over to fruition because you could say one thing, but then when you look at it, it's like this is not exactly what I thought it would be.
yeah,
It might, it's not even worth my time.
mm,
Which, and I thought NXT UK was a great, it was great for the UK talent because it exposed, it gave a lot of the men and women over there, exposure,
mm,
um internationally, in an international, on an international, in an international scenario.
yeah,
It gave them that exposure because before I didn't really know about Tyler Bate. I didn't know about Pete Dunne
yeah.
and what was in it? Is it Sub? I forgot what her name is. It's Sub. The two guys and the girl. I know one was oh geez, I forgot.
Yeah.
Mark Andrews,
Oh, Mark Andrews and
and
he had the the gimmick was like the old band Oasis. What is it? I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah, and the other guy, he looks like Ringo Starr,
Yes, I mean
or
yeah,
one of the Gallagher boys from Oasis.
yeah. I can't remember the actual. Yeah, I can't
And
remember.
you
I
had
know
the
who's.
girl. I think it was called Subs. Yeah, but I would have never known about them. And I mean, I knew about
Right,
Mark Andrews before because he was in TNA,
right.
but I would have known about his tag team partner, and it was a great thing for exposure. But um, to me, I always felt it was lacking something. It was kind of lacking something. But
I get.
we got to see Walter, who's now known
Yeah,
as Gunther, and
yeah,
that worked out for him.
yeah,
And Ilya Dragunov, to me, he's another guy that people got to watch out for. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with when he
yeah,
gets to that main roster. It's only
yeah,
a matter of time.
yeah. He should be. Yeah.
So growing up, did you ever get to meet any of the? Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. You're right. I was just agreeing with you. I was just agreeing with you.
So growing up, did you ever get to meet any of the WB wrestlers or any of the wrestlers from like AEW, and which we're going to talk about that UK debut. I know you're
Yeah,
probably excited. I don't know if you're an AEW fan, but if you are,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'd like to get your take on that. But did you ever get to meet any of the wrestlers you watched growing up, like whenever they went to the UK?
No, I wasn't that fortunate to do it. I like I said, I only really went to that SummerSlam one in '92. I didn't really do anything older. Like I've seen like Revolution Pro over here. When they do their events over here, like I've seen like Drew McIntyre, Will Ospreay, stuff like that. Matt Sydal was in one of the shows as well. So I've seen wrestlers like that. So I've had the opportunity to do so when they come over here and when they're on the indie things. I like the Revolution Pro that they're able to get like Will Ospreay still to go over there and compete and stuff, and the New Japan guys. So I've had the opportunity many years later in life to do that. But that's the closest I have been. I've not really gone to any. I haven't gone to any WWE events at all because obviously they don't tour that much over here, and the prices are very extortionate to actually attend. It's like I was thinking of doing like Money in the Bank, but just the normal packages are it's just too much. It's just honestly, it's just too much to actually go and attend. So
Yeah, I could imagine because I remember. Well, I remember like some of those prices there, like for nosebleeds.
yeah,
Here it's like I don't know. I don't know. I can't like translate it into like pounds, but
yeah,
I think the last WWE show I went to Raw, it was like $65, and that was like
right,
nosebleeds. Like you're far up, you can only see whatever on the Titantron, and that's it.
yeah,
And then I think when I went to SummerSlam fight, or was it? I think Survivor Series was like $85.
wow,
I think it may have been a bit more, but yeah, those prices are no joke. And then when I go to AEW is like 40 something dollars. I'm like, this is not bad. And it was nosebleeds, and I was like, yeah, I could definitely do this.
No, that's good. That's good because I'm always think. I always think though. I think it's just a comfort of me just watching it on the TV. I get to hear. I like hearing the commentary and stuff like that. And sometimes like hearing the commentary makes a match go a little quicker if it's a bit slow picking up and stuff like that. It's the same. So I hope to see it that way. Although, like I say, tried to get it for Money in the Bank this year because I thought it's going to be something, just to see, and the crowd's going to be electric no matter who's performing. But yeah, in generally though, like if you can do the nosebleed seats, it seems like AEW at the moment, AEW's prices are a lot cheaper than WWE's because they're just basically just new. So
Yeah, yeah, they were definitely crazy. Um, so how do you feel about AEW coming to the UK?
it's a bold and brave move by them. I think he's always wanted to bring a show here. I did not expect him to do Wembley as his first show. I didn't expect him to do a stadium for his first show. I don't know
Mm,
if he was not allowed to book the O2 because of maybe they've got a deal with WWE and they're the only ones who can book it. But to do Wembley is a bold statement, and I'm glad it's selling as well. It's going to be a crazy because I think haven't they got an event like the next week as well, like all in or something like that, which is madness in itself. But I think I cannot wait to see what matches they do because
okay.
I think if I was him and they can agree to it, I know they're meeting at Forbidden Door, but I would do the trilogy of Osprey and Omega at Wembley.
Woo!
I would do that. It would be
If
a unique atmosphere because they did it in Japan obviously earlier this year. They're going to do it in Toronto, but that'll be something else there if they do something like that.
man, if Osprey were to actually like win there, I
Yeah,
could imagine the eruption from
it'll
the
be big.
crowd.
It'll be massive. And I think they'd
Woo!
have to do because it's the third one. I think they'd have to do some type of gimmick, whether it's a cage or whether it's a last man stand or whether it's a ladder or something like that. They'd have to do that. But generally itself, it'd be fascinating who they book, whether they can. Because I know New Japan has said if they want some of their stars, they can send them over there. It's
Yeah.
going to be an epic epic event. I think it's going to be something that's talked about for a
Oh
while.
yeah, definitely. So I
Um,
gotta ask you. So you and I, I know you've seen what AEW's been doing.
yeah,
Um, they had AEW Dark. Unfortunately, AEW Dark and AEW Elevation, they're no more.
yeah,
I actually enjoyed watching those two programs when I got the chance because it put me on to so many men and women in the industry that, and I
mm,
always said it was a bit of ah, a morale booster because people are getting exposure just being
yeah,
on that show. But now they have Ring of Honor, which from the looks of it, from the outside looking in, is looking to take the place of what
yeah.
AEW Dark and AEW Elevation were. So AEW is going to UK. Who are some talents that America has never seen before that you think that you would like to see take part in either Ring of Honor or have a one-off appearance on Dynamite or Rampage, or maybe even Collision, because now there's Collision too, which actually is going to start tomorrow.
Mm. That's a good question. I've not dipped my hand into the indie scene for a few years because I've just been watching AEW, and I see. I don't know. I would like them to do some just matches we haven't seen before, even with established
Okay.
stars. I would love to see. See, I think I don't know I don't know how, but I think that with everything that's going on, they're going to try and do. See, I think they would do Jericho versus Sting at Wembley. I think they could do something like that. That's never been
Okay.
done before. Who else? I mean, like, because you got to remember, so even some in the states, some of these wrestlers aren't that like well known because they've been like they haven't had a television deal before. They've been in New Japan, but I mean, it's. I mean, everything happening with Punk. Is he going to be involved in it? You know, are they going to do that? Are they going to build up to like some type of 6-man tag? Whether they do the Omega Osprey thing or they put Omega with the Bucks against Punk and FTR, something like that. I just think it's a unique chance. Even like you say, it's a unique chance to put a lot of people on there because AEW like to do what New Japan do and have like multi-person matches as well. Like they have like a 8-man, 6-man tag, something like
Right.
that. I would like to see the Acclaimed get a big match at Wembley, just to see them in a big arena like that. I really do like the way they perform and everything like that. I just like their story. I'd love to see MGF cut a promo in Wembley, just insulting everyone and stuff like
Ooh.
that. Jack Perry, I do like Darby Allin, to give them more mainstream of it. I'd just like to see. I'd like to see more of the homegrown stars of AEW get really exposed in a good way. Obviously, like that. You know, when it comes to the women's wrestlers, Jade Cargill, Chris Statlander, maybe do a rematch at Wembley itself for that title, for the TBS title. I think so. You're going to have to book Saraya in a match. You're just going to have to book her in a match. You can't.
So I would say,
can't have an event without in the UK about Saraya in a match, whether it's against Britt Baker or something. I don't know, but
all right, Saraya. Oh yeah, we
yeah.
actually had her mother on our show. Like I think it's been 2 years now. I never
Okay.
forget that. That was like the longest interview we ever had. Well, not Saraya. Yeah, Saraya Knight. We
Yeah.
had her on our show, and she's a really cool person.
Yeah. She comes
Um,
across very well.
I was actually nervous because I was like, yeah, Rabbit Page's mom, she's a legend in her own right. I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do, and but it was definitely a great interview. She's definitely a cool woman, cool mother. And honestly speaking, I'm hoping that this UK tour, her
Yeah.
son gets a chance. I
Yeah.
don't know if you saw fighting with my family, right?
Yeah. I've seen the documentary and the film. I know the film takes a little leeway here and there, but if you actually watch the documentary, it's absolutely fascinating. The way that they built that story where Paige beat her mum basically for a title. It's just something else. And you're right. I think I did see or read. It's like on these sites you read rumors about maybe he's going to get a shot or something like that. That'd be something at least, or at least have him on tour. That'd be quite nice.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this UK tour he gets a chance to showcase his talents, and I'm hoping at the end of it all, Tony Khan comes out and gives that man a contract, Zach Beavis. I'm hoping for it because he definitely deserves it.
Mm,
And I hate the fact that Vince Vaughn. I mean, I no slight to Vince Vaughn. He was playing a character, but the character he was playing was saying specifically, "Your brothers are journeymen," and
yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't think so. He definitely has a lot he can offer, and I'm really hoping that Zach Zodiac gets a chance
Mm,
to be a full-fledged member of AEW because I got a feeling that the way he looks, he could definitely be something big in AEW. And now they
right.
have Collision. I'm pretty sure there's room for one more or Ring of Honor because they got Ring of Honor. I'm pretty sure there's room for him there too. So I'm hoping that he gets
Yeah,
that as well too.
I agree.
Another person I'm hoping that gets a shot. There's a woman by the name of is it Casey Owens? She's a
Right.
twin,
Okay.
and I'm hoping she gets a shot. I don't know if her sister is still wrestling, but if her sister's wrestling too, I hope they get a shot as well too because those are two brutal women, and I would like to see them actually, get a chance to shine. I mean, Casey's gotten to wrestle in NXT UK, but I'm hoping that if both of them are still wrestling, they get a chance to show what they can do in AEW as well.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree. I just hope they really. What I'm hoping AEW does is really utilize these shows to really utilize these shows to show that how deep their roster is, and not have the same people on every show, or even do a brand split or something like that, because that's actually, the roster is so big, and you don't even, sometimes you forget there's also ROH roster as well, part of it, that where
Yeah,
they can split it up. That's what I hope they do, because then we don't need to see the same people on every show like that. So I just hope they're able to utilize their roster to its fullest, because it's like you got people like Miro sitting at home. Uh, you got you got I know she was injured, but you got Thunder Rosa sitting. You got El Idio sitting at home. It's madness. You've got this talent that's just sitting there doing. You're paying them for just sitting at home, essentially, like that. And I just hope they're able to really utilize. That's why I hope the Collision thing, whoever's on it, whoever's not on it, they stay on there. They don't need to go into Dynamite or Rampage or stuff like that. They can just be on that show, and we can focus on that and have unique, fresh feuds. You don't need to keep running through your feuds, and you can have a proper build to pay-per-views for some matches, which I find sometimes is a bit lacking in AEW. They're sometimes rushed, put together. Because I just realised, like, this week they only started really putting the card together for Forbidden Door, an announcement. And it's like 10 days. It's in 10 days. It should be like, we should be having like major build already. Do you know what I mean? I should be
yeah,
having like 2 weeks of Danielson and Okada face to face, or a promo or something like that. Will Ospreay just not debuted, came back this week. If Tanahashi's going after MGF, they should have more than a 1 week build up. Do you know? Do
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like, but I really think it's a massive summer for AEW. It's a massive summer. I cannot wait for the Forbidden Door. Over here. It's going to be on from 1 a.m., but I'm going to have a sleep before that, because I'm not missing Osprey Omega and Danielson Okada live. Even if I was to miss it and didn't know what the results were and what you recorded, it wouldn't feel the same, because you can stop, start, and move it forward. I need to watch it live. That's what I like about AEW. They have great matches that you need to watch live, because if you don't, you're like, even if you watch afterwards, you feel like you've missed out on some of the unique experience of watching it live. So it's like, even with this event at Wembley, you have to watch it live, no matter where you are. You have to watch it live. Book the next day off of work, whatever it is. Just book it off and watch it live, because you will miss something that's talked about.
yeah. Yeah, it's. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Forbidden Door. Um, a match. I know this might sound a bit far fetched, but a match that I'm hoping to see is Konosuke Takeshita. I forgot. Maybe you probably know him. Kenny Omega's tag team partner, and I always forget his name, in the Golden Lovers.
Kota Ibushi.
Kota Ibushi.
You think
Yes,
that's
I think it's gonna
you got
happen.
but that's the problem in itself, right? That's like, it's gonna have like a 1 week, like, no, not even 1 week. It's gonna have like a 3 day build up or something like that. And it's like,
Yeah.
that should be, because I think Ibushi's a free agent, if I'm right, at this moment in time. He's not even with New Japan, so he's like a
Oh,
free
right,
agent at
right.
the moment in time. So no, it's definitely something that it could happen, or maybe he'll show up. Maybe they'll just do that and they'll show up, because I can definitely see they're going to have to do a match between Omega and Takeshita, just one-on-one, just to sort it out, and whoever gets involved in that. But I, I there's going to be, looks like it's going to be Orange Cassidy and Zack Sabre Jr. That's a unique match in itself. It's going to be Sonata against Jungle Boy. That's another unique match in itself. It's just, I just wanted more of a build up. They should have really started the build up from Double or Nothing, essentially. Should have done it right there. That first Dynamite afterwards, wham! This is what we're doing. Danielson challenges Ospreay's challenged Omega, but I'm not going to really. Once you really think about it and you get down to the event, you're not going to care, because the matches are just going to be I just don't know how long this event's going to be. It could go 4 or 5 hours. This event, seriously,
Mm.
because if you think about
I
it,
hope, honestly, I hope it doesn't go more than 3 hours. I
but
mean,
if you think about it, just those two matches, those big matches alone, you've at least got to give, excluding entrances and video packages, you've got to at least give them 30 minutes each, and that's just for two matches. Do you know what I mean? The Osprey, Omega, and Danielson, Akada, you've got to give them at least 30 minutes each, or else, what's the point? It's just, I'm very excited for that pay per view.
yeah, that's those are going to be some interesting matches, though. I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to it. Omega and oh my gosh, Omega and Osprey are going to tear the house. I'm gonna say this: Osprey can be the face of AEW, and he
yes,
would carry that company well. I don't care what anybody says.
yeah.
Osprey has it within him. Aussie Open has it within them to actually be a top trio as well too. Um,
Well, Aussie Open's now signed with AEW, so they're definitely going to be there. So they're signed. I think they signed their deals with AEW.
you know, you know,
Osprey's deals up next year, I think.
who I
So
hope AEW signs as well too.
yeah.
I don't know if you know about them, but the British Bulldogs,
I've read about. Yeah, I've not watched them. I've heard about them on the
the
on the
new
internet.
British Bulldogs, not Dynamite Kid and Davy
Yeah,
Boy
yeah, yeah,
Smith.
yeah. It's a long time.
For those of you watching,
Yeah,
but God rest their souls. They were great men, but
very, very
even if they were
talented.
still alive today, I don't think they'd be in the ring. But
No, no, no chance.
um,
No chance.
you know, I saw that Davy Boy and his two cousins. The last name is Billington. They're keeping that alive, and that British Bulldog name alive, and I'm definitely they're in. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, MLW, Major League Wrestling.
Yeah,
They're
I
over there.
saw Jacob Fatu's in there, and
Yeah,
yeah, a
yeah.
few others.
So
Yeah.
you're a cultured man when it comes to your wrestling. I like that. That's
But
cool,
I,
man.
I dip in and out. Yeah, I dip in and out when I can. But it's like there's so much, like
You see,
so much
folks, this
wrestling now.
you're in England, right?
Yeah, yeah,
This man is in England and watching MLW and Impact and all that stuff. There is no reason why y'all in America cannot do that. And y'all know who you are.
yeah.
There's
You don't have to watch it all
most
live. You can just catch up. You know what I mean? You don't have to watch it all
yeah,
live. It's on streaming now, so you don't. You just catch up like that. And
yeah,
even if it's like I've not watched Impact for a couple of months, but I watched the event recently where Alex Shelley won the title. So what I mean, you don't have
yeah,
to be singly catch up, stuff like that. I mean, I know Rampage was just on. I don't know if I'm going to watch it, but I might because Will Ospreay and Aussie Open are wrestling, so I want to watch that. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? So there's no real excuse. It's like because I don't. What I do over here, I watch SmackDown more than I watch Raw because I think Raw is too long for me. It's like
mm,
3 hours is like, especially with the way some of the storylines are. So I'll click through that. I'll watch the videos, the highlights the next day, and we go over here on like one of the stations over here. I'll just flick through and stuff like that. But no, you're right. I mean, there's no real excuse. I mean, yeah, you don't. I'm not saying you have to watch every single wrestling promotion, but stuff out there that's not WWE and AEW now. So
yeah. I always tell them, like, if you're in, like, for example, I'm in New York. If
yeah,
you're in New York, if you're on the East Coast, see what's going on the West Coast. If you're in the
right,
West Coast, see what's going on the East Coast. If you know what's going on both coasts, check out the Midwest, check out Texas. And if you know what's going on in America, guess what? You have Japan, you
yeah,
have Mexico, you have England. I know there's Rev Pro and Progress over there, and of course there's WXW in Germany,
right.
where Walter,
Walter
now
was,
known as
yeah,
Gunther,
yeah, yeah,
Gunther came
yeah,
from.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's good. It should, yeah, because you'll probably even like look if you start watching it now, probably like 3 or 4 years time, you're going to see one of these guys, some of these people on one of the main shows. You know what I mean? Or possibly,
yeah,
see them on there. So it's all good. I mean, I just broaden the horizons. You know what I mean? But sometimes people just like the mainstream stuff, don't they? Really, it's just a simple one of this, and we'll get through. But
yeah,
it's a good
yeah,
time.
yeah.
It's a good time.
like they say, everybody, different strokes for different folks. Everybody has their likes and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, if you have your favorite, that's fine. But as long as you're not obnoxious with it, that's cool. You
Mm.
like what you like. I've had people tell me they don't even watch. I've had before AEW. I've had people tell me they don't watch WWE because they don't like the way it was going. They
Yeah.
used to
Yeah.
watch indie promotions and that's it. I know one guy that told me the only wrestling he watched was Lucha Underground when it was around, and that was
Understandable.
it. I'm like, hey, teach their own. You like what you like. So
Yeah.
it is what it
Well,
is.
I can understand that last few years because really I was only WWE watching the big events, but even that was starting to get a bit like I was getting sort of bored of it. But I was sticking with the old NXT because that was the one that was really performing. That was the number one brand for me. But then they changed that. But now with the Bloodline storyline, that's just been it for the last year or so. That's actually uh, kept that because I was I'm glad that they've have a storyline like that because as much as I like the matches, it was just I thought it swung too far where it was just all about the matches, who was versing who. There was no storyline at all. It was sort of like UFC essentially. It was just like who's the best versus the best, which is like
Yeah,
I like the storyline because I think with wrestling it matters why people are fighting each other. Like for it, like Osprey and Omega, there's actual real life tension there, and
yeah,
it's mixed in. This Punk thing is this interview he's done recently.
man.
I think it's part shoot and part worked, but that's going to be
I'm
there. But like you've got Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar, and I still don't know why Brock Lesnar is fighting Cody Rhodes. It's like, why did he attack Cody Rhodes? I don't know why.
you
Anything
know
like that.
that whole. I'm just sorry that Cody's not there because Cody has actually improved with his promo work
Oh, he's brilliant.
um
One of the
in
best.
the recent
One of
years.
the best. Yeah.
And I've always been, I was when Cody first debuted in '07.
Mm.
I always had faith in him. I always said this guy is going to be a star. And I'm doing the same thing with Dominic Mysterio. Like it's only a matter of time. He's going
Me
to
too.
find his niche.
Yeah.
And Cody found his. And the one thing I'm sorry he's not there for is to see CM Punk because just imagine how a promo battle would go between Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. Whether you like to whether people like CM Punk or not, they have to admit beyond a shadow of a doubt he is one of the best on the mic today.
Yeah.
That's one thing they cannot take away.
No.
He is one of the best on the mic. And the man gave The Rock a run for his money 10,
Mm.
11 years ago
Yeah.
when The Rock was saying, oh, and I always, to me, in my opinion, and I'm a huge Rock fan, but
Mm.
that night, CM Punk got the best of The Rock in
Yeah.
regards to promo battles because I always said the thing is, The Rock, he has a way he attacks people, he has a way he
Yeah.
disses people. But the thing I noticed with CM Punk is that CM Punk already told us all. It was another case of 8 Mile. CM Punk already told us his faults. He's
Yeah.
skinny fat.
Yeah.
He's emo. He's straight edge and all that stuff.
Mm.
You know, and then he also broke the fourth wall. He told us his real name, Phil Brooks. So with all of that factoring in,
Yeah.
him pretty much killing, putting the last nail in the coffin of kayfabe, and not only that, in my opinion, breaking the fourth wall,
Mm.
that was something The Rock just could not compete with. And I saw it in
No.
that
I
promo,
agree. I agree. I think it was a
you
line of
know.
something like "Your arms are too short to box with God" or something. I think it was a line that he dropped.
Yeah, I remember
Punk
that was a
dropped. Yeah.
classic. He
Yeah.
said,
But
your
I think that
arms are
was
too
just
short to box with God.
yeah. I think that was it. I think that's what took him over the thing. And I think now we've got. I think now with promos we've got out of the catchphrase. Like everyone has a line that they'll say, but like there won't be a lot of catchphrases, right? I know MJF's usual stick is to insult the crowd. That he's the only really, for me, he's the only. Sometimes he's the only really true heel, bad guy in the
Yeah,
business that still sticks to it because Dominic Mysterio's got fantastic heat. He's got fantastic heat, but his promo needs a bit of work, obviously. But he's young, so that will come into it. But the rest
Yeah,
now, the promos are like really just real. They're from they're from the gut, they're from the heart. They're not like looking to hit this catchphrase point here, get the pop here, something like that. They're looking to land it. And if you notice now, it happens now and again, but in the last few years, the what chants have actually just stopped nearly entirely now, because it was like a good, like, amazingly, like, still like 15 years later, you were still hearing people say what in a promo. But since, like, I noticed it in AEW, where I think the promos are less scripted or handled, and they're basically just told to go out there and say what they want. Essentially, I just like the realness to them. Like, there was a great, I don't know, I think it was after the show, but there was a great interchange between Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay last year. I think it was after the show. I think it was it was just the actual exchange, and I do like it when there's a bit of real life tension on there. It just adds a bit of spice to it.
yeah.
That's why I think what you saw Wednesday, which is very unique. You saw Eddie Kingston come back.
Hmm.
There was a thing with John Moxley where they looked like they were going to actually fight each other. And I remember, yeah, I'd like to see them duke out. But then I remember they did it like 3 years ago, and they had some great promos back then. But this time, just a little bit added extra. They just like I said, Moxley Punk last year, and they were just literally basically tell each other they don't like each other. The Hangman Page stuff with Punk, I just like, it's a bit of tension in it. It just grips you a bit more.
Yeah, yeah. That things are getting interesting with the BCC and the Elite. Um,
Oh, that was a
and
great match at Double or Nothing. That was a fantastic match at Double or Nothing. That was just
I'm definitely, in my opinion, if you ask me, the Elite. I've actually enjoyed their promos ever since, even when they were with I actually enjoyed their work even when they were with the Bullet Club, which in my opinion, when Kenny Omega was the leader,
yeah,
for some reason, they helped each other, because I didn't know anything about Kenny Omega before the Bullet Club. I did not know who he
same.
was. I just heard somebody telling me about him. Like, okay, let me see this guy. And then when he joined the Bullet Club, like, it elevated him, but also, in my opinion, he also elevated the Bullet Club
Yeah,
to
yeah,
another status, to more eyes, because I knew of them before, like a little before he joined, because I heard about them in 2014, and people were talking about the Bullet Club, the Bullet Club, the Bullet Club. I can't remember I can't exactly pinpoint when exactly I first heard of them, but I know roughly it was 2014 that I heard rumblings of them, and I knew that they would wear like masks and so on to the ring and so on. I think it may have been when Tangaloa, the former Camacho from WWE, actually
yeah,
joined up with his brother. That's when I may have known. I may have known of them, but I know that when I started really watching them was when AJ Styles got kicked out of Bullet Club,
yeah,
and Kenny Omega became the de facto leader. So
yeah. And
that's when
then,
I actually started, and to me,
no,
they
you're right.
brought more eyes to the Bullet Club. I think
Yeah, well,
they.
the
That's just
BTE
yeah.
stuff, YouTube's helped as well. The T-shirts, stuff like that. No, you're right. And then they added Cody Rhodes and then Adam Cole, added all that, and then Hangman Page, and it was just them essentially. No, you're right. Yeah, it's been very good. For just I'm glad that Kenny Omega took the chance to actually leave Japan and come back across the water to the US to establish himself, get more eyes on himself, essentially. Because if you think about it, I don't think a lot of people really in the US, or but let's say a percentage of the US audience probably didn't know who Kenny Omega was when
Yeah.
he first started.
Yeah, I didn't either. I did not know who he was. I just knew that there was this group called the Bullet Club, and then the Tangaloa was part of it with his brother Tama Tonga, and then lo and behold, I think later on, AJ Styles and Jeff Jarrett were part of it.
Yeah,
And then the next thing I remembered, AJ Styles, he got kicked out by Kenny Omega, along with the Good Brothers, Luke
Yeah.
Gallows and Carl Anderson. They left. I knew about them before Bullet Club though,
Mm.
and next thing you know, Kenny Omega and the Elite, they were actually running wild and selling a lot of shirts and so on. So yeah, it was they definitely helped each other
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
sense.
No, they're all good.
Yeah. So I gotta ask you, man. So besides, let's say if when I touch down to Heathrow, I'm looking to see some wrestling in England. I know about Rev Pro. I know about Progress. What are some other promotions you would recommend for myself and other wrestling fans that go to England? What are some promotions you would recommend that we check out?
I those are the really two that I stick to. Rev Pro
Okay.
and Progress now and again I stick to. Like I said, I've been to a couple of their shows, but I haven't really. I've been really need to catch up with them essentially. But definitely, Progress is making a lot of noise over here. They are making a lot of noise. Red Pro's the established brand, obviously, with their links to using New Japan, and all the major top indie stars. But Progress is making a lot of noise. Um, I'm hearing good things about them. People are, on wrestling Twitter, that attended the shows have talked about, they were seeing some very good wrestling. So I would try and catch one of those two shows definitely if you could. Apart from that, yeah, those are the only two really I stick with when it comes to the British side. Um, because yeah, I was first introduced to Red Pro and I've really stuck with them. So, but
Okay.
progress is up and coming. It is up and coming. Whether they'll, I don't know whether they'll get to Rev Pro status, but they are trying. They're fighting very hard to get there, and they're impressing a lot of people as well.
Awesome. I'll definitely have to, check out those two promotions whenever I get there because those are the two. I know there's another one called I see that it's called Insane Championship Wrestling. There's
Oh
that one
yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah. Same time, yeah. ICW, yeah. They've had actually over the years they've had a lot of unique cameos actually. Uh, Actually going there. So yeah, those are ones as well. There's a one in Scotland as well. I can't remember which one it's called, but no, there's definitely a scene here. It's growing. Whether it can be as big, that proves to be. They would. I think what they need, and I don't think it will happen over here. They would need a television deal, or they need to do. They need to be more. Get their stuff, promote their stuff more on YouTube and stuff like that,
Well, there's
or
also, I mean, and this is
Twitch
why
or
you see, I
something.
always say this is like the best time to be a wrestling fan
Yeah, yeah,
because there are so many resources, and I would say like there's YouTube, there's also like Fight TV, and
yeah,
there's
yeah.
also
Fight TV, like Twitch,
yeah,
something
there's
like
also
that.
IWTV, and there's
Yeah,
also, and I love this one too because they're like a godsend. Um, Look at me forgetting. Title match. Title match is another one. Although
right.
title match you have to pay for it. At the same time, you can watch several promotions, several shows from several promotions on title match.
Yeah, and well, they need to. Well, they do. They need to make some deals. Like I know, I know Impact Plus shows a lot of different indie stuff and stuff like that. They could do that with the Ring of Honor stuff. They could try and show something like that, or like you say, Fight TV. Fight TV. I mean, that's sort of how we get the. Because that's how I get the watch all the AEW stuff. I don't wait for. I know AEW's got television deals over here, but I watch Fight TV. I'm gladly pay them the monthly subscription. That's what Collision is going to be on there this Saturday, stuff like that. Rampage on there, stuff. I'm glad. Yeah, they should do more of that essentially,
Oh
or
yeah,
you use the opportunity of AEW coming over to network properly and start getting your guys over there, or vice versa, something like that. Because it will just help. It will just help the brands grow.
yeah. Well, in all honesty, I'm definitely hoping that great things come out of this AEW UK tour. Y'all definitely deserve it because y'all have given us so many. Y'all have given the professional wrestling world so many great talents. Even from back in the '80s, you had the British Bulldogs, Johnny Smith, who, man, I would have loved to see Johnny Smith and the British Bulldogs become a regular trio. I know that, once at one point it was Davy Boy Smith and Johnny Smith.
Mm.
And then when Dynamite Kid and Davy Boy parted ways, like they separated as a tag team, Dynamite started teaming with Johnny Smith as the British Bruisers for a
Mm.
brief period of time. And y'all have given us like William Regal, you know,
Yeah, very
and
under
you know Dave Taylor and
David
Fit
Taylor as
Finley and
well.
so many. Wait, pardon?
Yeah, Fit Finley, Dave Taylor, Johnny Saint as well.
Yeah, so
Um,
many great people y'all have given us, and I definitely hope that great things come out of this deal, and it's a deal that's beneficial to all
but
parties involved as well too.
I hope they make it a yearly event. Whether it's at Wembley or not, I don't know. But hopefully they establish some type of UK event.
Yeah,
Whether that's they go to Wales like the WWE did, they do something in Scotland, they do something in Ireland, or they use one of the football stadiums, the soccer stadiums we have over here, the big ones like the one that they can use if Wembley's booked or something like that. I hope they really, really use that because I think. Listen, I think the AEW crowds are usually very good every week. They're very loud. But when you go overseas to anywhere, there's the overseas crowds are more than a match for like towns like Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, Florida, anywhere in Florida, LA, Seattle, something like that. They're and Toronto. They are unique over here. It'll be interesting to see in an open aired stadium at Wembley the atmosphere if this event goes like past 3 hours
yeah,
because because people will be actually credit to Chicago last year with the Forbidden Door. They kept that atmosphere going because they could easily be burnt out by so
yeah,
many like great matches. But yeah, I hope they really see the opportunity to try and make it some type of yearly event, whether it's all out or whatever it is, or whether it's just something else, but they just make it like a unique event. And even like not even just in the UK, go to France, go to Germany, you know, go all over the world. Go to Australia, something like that. Do an event
oh
there.
yeah,
Do one in India, something like that. Don't limit yourself. Do you know what I mean? Just do one in South America. In
yeah,
Brazil or Argentina or something like that.
yeah. South America,
Look at
I believe
yeah, look
South
at
America has is Chile because we
Chile.
had a
Yeah.
we had a woman um Catalina Catalina Garcia, the
Right.
former Katrina Cortez from WWE. She was the masked luchadora, and she said apparently I think it's Chile, and I think she said Peru or Paraguay,
Peru.
one of the other countries.
Yeah.
There's a wrestling scene down there, so yeah, I think
Yeah.
it'll be interesting if they went to South America.
Yeah, Mexico. Obviously, you got the AAA connections, stuff like that. Lucha Underground, what they had before. No,
Yeah,
it's unique. Is South Africa, something like that. Even like going to Japan or something. It's just unique. They could just build. I mean, you would think that they could do like New Japan would love to do an event in Japan with AEW stars going back there. Do you know what I mean? Something like that. So,
oh
but
yeah,
it's all open to them. It's all open to them. If they pull it off, I think they will. They will pull it off. It's just trying to keep it then going, trying to make it unique. So
definitely. So I gotta say, Andrew, I just gotta say, it's been an honor, a pleasure to have you on here. I know we tried for last week, and stuff happened, couldn't make it happen. But I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be on our show and everything. And hopefully we can have you back for one of our prediction shows or topic
yeah,
shows in the near future.
no, no
Before we
problem.
shut this, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said no problem. It's like I say, it's been. Thank you for the invite. It's been a pleasure. That if you see behind me the window, when they start this video, that window will be dark,
Yeah,
and now it's gone to light.
sorry, man. I'll tell you what, man. Next time we'll try to do this earlier, man. We'll try to do it like 12, because normally when we have people overseas, we normally cater to their time. So if, in your
It's
case, we
my fault
probably
entirely. I misread the time. I didn't see the /4 like 4 a.m. I saw
yeah,
11, and I thought that was 11 my time.
my
And
bad.
then you sent the other message. I went, no, but it's like no. If once I commit to something, I'm gonna do it. unless something like unless there's something I couldn't do. But no, it's a
Yeah,
unique experience. So
yeah. Next time we'll definitely it'll definitely be like 12 o'clock our most time, probably 12 o'clock our time, 5 o'clock your time.
hmm yeah,
Apologize for that. We don't normally like
no, no,
to
no, no need to apologize. No need to
do that.
apologize.
But once again, thank you very much. We really and truly appreciate it. I'm sorry, my two other co-hosts, Rob Bass and Kathy Knight, couldn't be here. Kathy Knight's a huge Paige fan, like, or Soraya
Wow,
fan. Like
nice.
she loved she loves Soraya so much. She was actually instrumental in getting Soraya's mom on our show. And
Wow.
before that, we actually had a whole like knighting, quote unquote, knighting ceremony because when she first joined our podcast, you know, my last name is Blue, Remy Blue. Rob's
Yeah.
last name is Bass, Rob Bass, but Kathy didn't have a last name. So we're like, well, since I guess Paige said Soraya, she said something along the lines of you being her sister, or adopted sister, something like that. I'm like, let's have a knighting ceremony where we actually give you a last name, so that way you won't be the only weird one. Sorry, Kathy, my bad. But that way you're not the only weird one without a last name. And we had a whole knighting ceremony and everything
Nice.
on our show. This is like 3 years ago, but
Wow.
yeah, I'm pretty sure she would have enjoyed this, but she's probably sleeping at this time. But um, before we shut this show down, where can fans find fellow wrestling fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling? The indie scene in England, or
Mm.
NBA or NFL, or about
So
Chelsea. Blue tomorrow.
yeah, yeah.
Where can they find you on social media, man?
So that's my Twitter handle at the Windsurfer. So I usually tweet out what I'm doing. I don't have a channel of my own at the moment. I am thinking of starting something up like that, where I would encompass everything that I like, which will include wrestling and stuff like that. But once I set it up, obviously I'll let people know. But you can follow me there. Like I'm usually on Chelsea channel called Casually FC. That's in the pinned tweet if you follow me there. Also on Sarcasm City TV, where we talk about NBA and football and other things like that. But yeah, whatever I'm on, I usually tweet out, or I tweet out stuff that I'm not even on, but people should go and watch and check out for themselves. So yeah, like I said, just follow me there. I am on Instagram, but I don't really do much on Instagram. You've probably seen that I don't really do much on there, but that I'm under there as the_winter_surfer. So I'm on that one. But more importantly, people should like this video, share it, and subscribe to this channel. More importantly, so that's what they should do.
Thanks. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. So yeah, so for those y'all that heard, he talks about NBA, NFL, Chelsea FC. If you're a fan of any of those, definitely check out his YouTube channel when it comes out. You get you not only are you getting a perspective, but you're getting a chance to you're getting a perspective from somebody that's overseas that's watching NBA and NFL. And
Mm.
also, if you're a fan of the football leagues in England, in the UK, you have a fellow fan here that you can actually talk about it as well.
Yep.
Hopefully, you're a Chelsea FC fan. If you're
Yeah.
not, well, I can't help you there.
Oh
Don't
no,
you
no,
know?
no. Listen, all other teams are welcome as well. Just keep it. Let's the banter and debate. I actually prefer debating people that disagree with me, as long as it doesn't get too personal, of course. But you
Yeah.
know, you know what I mean. I actually prefer that because it's a challenge. You know what I mean. So, but yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. And with that being said, it's about time for us to shut this show down. My eyelids are getting heavy. My stomach is rumbling. That means it's time for dinner and a nap. Maybe not that order, but before I indulge in those activities, if you want to find me on social media, not that I say a lot of cool things, but I do go to a lot of cool places. I might go to Alaska sometime this month or next month. But if you want to see that, you can definitely follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the Remy Blue. You can also find me on Facebook under the alias Remy Blue as well. Our podcast is also on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Ringside Society, Twitch at Ringside Society 2019. We're on Facebook as a Facebook group. We're also on Spotify, and we're also on Teespring, where we sell official Ringside Society merchandise. We have T-shirts, we have tank tops, we have hoodies, long sleeve shirts. We even have pillows and coffee mugs for your favorite warm beverage. So definitely check us out, cop some merch, purchase some merch. All proceeds from those sales go back into keeping our show afloat. They do not go back into our pockets. I promise you that. And last but not least, we have a YouTube channel where you can see cool interviews like this one, like the one we had with Soraya Knight, the one we recently had with the ultimate athlete J Rod, and several other great men and women across the world that enjoy or take part in the pro wrestling industry. You can find all those interviews on our YouTube channel. All you gotta do is go on YouTube, type in Ringside Society. Once you see that really good looking dark blue and light blue yin yang sound with the blue flames around it, that's on the right, I think, of this video, or the left. You'll see it. That's when you know it's us. So make sure you subscribe to all our videos because we got a lot of cool stuff and you don't want to miss a thing like Aerosmith in 1998. But before I go any further, I'm feeling nice tonight. I believe it's this Monday. Monday, we'll be having former WWE social media employee Marie Shadows on our show. She's no longer with WWE, but she's doing great things with the Goddesses of War division over in I believe it's New York or New Jersey. She's a commentator for them. So definitely
Mm.
make sure you subscribe to all our videos and look out for that one as well too. It's gonna be a story to be heard. And with that being said, we just want to thank everybody tuning in live tonight. Really and truly appreciate it. Thank you. We strive on being one of the best wrestling podcasts a wrestling fan could and should listen to, and we're not going to stop, being that way. So those of you that are listening later on when you get a chance, thank you very much in advance. And those y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we'd go away. Well, you know something? Like myself at a quality street store in good old London, England, we're not going anywhere for a while. And with that being said, we just want to let everybody know that we here at Ringside Society, we're very well and aware to everybody and their grandparents and the parents of a podcast. But just remember, we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. With that being said, I'm going to say it one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for Chelsea FC, Blue Tomorrow, and one time for Andrew, the Winter Surfer. We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society, and we'll be back next week with another impressive episode with another impressive guest. But until then, we just have four favorites for y'all. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.